She was only 13, barely a teenager, excited for her very first big flight. With her journal in her backpack and dreams of the future in her heart, she felt unstoppable. But as soon as she boarded, a moment of cruelty shattered her innocence. A flight attendant, claiming her dreadlocks were in the way, reached for scissors and cut them in front of everyone. Gasps echoed, shame flooded her chest, yet no one could stop what was done. What happened next would shake the airline industry. Wait a second. Tell us where you're watching from in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more powerful stories like this. Her name was Alyssa, just 13 years old, still in middle school and full of wonder. She loved writing, sketching, and imagining herself someday traveling the world. Her father had planned this trip carefully, wanting to inspire his daughter to dream bigger. To her, it felt magical. Her very first flight without her mom holding her hand. Alyssa's dreadlocks were her pride. Her mother had spent hours braiding and caring for them, reminding her that her hair carried history, beauty, and strength. At school, she often heard whispers. Some kids teased, others admired, but Alyssa always stood tall. As she walked through the airport that morning, excitement sparkled in her eyes. She wore her favorite hoodie, carried her little notebook, and kept glancing at the boarding pass like it was a golden ticket. But hidden beneath her joy was a storm waiting at 30,000 feet. Alyssa stepped onto the plane, her heart racing with excitement. But she noticed the flight attendant's eyes narrow as soon as she walked by. The smile wasn't kind. It was sharp, judging. Alyssa tried to ignore it and slid quietly into her seat. Minutes later, the attendant returned, her voice firm. "Your hair is blocking the safety sign." Alyssa's small hands flew to her locks. They barely brushed her shoulders. They weren't blocking anything. Before she could respond, the attendant pulled out scissors, used for opening packages, and snipped. Sound was deafening. Gasps broke out around her. A woman across the aisle covered her mouth. A man muttered, "That's wrong." But no one moved. No one stopped it. Alyssa froze. At only 13, she didn't have the words to defend herself. She just held the uneven strands in her lap, tears blurring her vision. The humiliation crushed her. She wasn't just embarrassed. She felt erased, like a piece of who she was had been stolen. The flight continued, but every second was heavy. She sat silent, staring at the window, clutching the pieces of her hair. The attendant walked past again, expression cold, as if nothing had happened. What Alyssa didn't know was that at the gate, her father was waiting, and when he heard the truth, the world would listen. When Alyssa stepped off the plane, her father waved eagerly, but his smile faded as he saw her strolling, eyes downcast, hair uneven and broken. She collapsed into his arms, sobbing as she whispered the story. Her father wasn't just any man. He was a respected civil rights lawyer. His calm voice carried power. With one phone call, everything changed. Passengers' videos spread online within hours. The world saw a 13-year-old black girl humiliated midair for nothing more than her hair. News stations erupted with outrage. The airline scrambled to apologize, but it was too late. This wasn't an isolated act. It was a symbol of centuries of disrespect, and her father swore he would never let it be buried in silence. The airline suspended the flight attendant, but the damage was done. Alyssa's dreadlocks would grow back, but the wound inside her would remain. Yet out of her pain came a spark of strength. With her father beside her, Alyssa stood before cameras, holding up the cut strands of her hair as living proof of discrimination. Her trembling voice carried further than she imagined. Across the world, children and parents shared their own experiences of being shamed for their natural hair. Hashtags trended, petitions gained thousands of signatures, and lawmakers faced growing pressure. Alyssa was only 13, but her story became a movement. Her question echoed everywhere. How many more children must suffer before dignity is truly protected? Which country and city are you watching from? Take care.